multi-levels of suppression and manipulation from the things we eat, the electromagnetic fields we come into contact with, the way that we're manipulated through words, etc., and religion and belief systems. All those things are necessary to hold us in an unnatural state of being unconscious. And why are all those things necessary? Because we are amazing, infinite, eternal genius. And we've been held in this unnatural state. But, like I say, if you're going to hold the ball in the unnatural state, you've got to hold it there. Because the moment you let it go, woof, it's in its natural state, because that's where it will gravitate to immediately. And the moment we throw off the chains and the shackles of this manipulation and of this misunderstanding of who we are and where we are, then as we break those chains, those vibrational chains, we are going to become conscious by definition, because that's what we are. You know, people think, I've got to seek enlightenment. No. We are enlightened. That's our natural state. The unnatural state is what we've been put into, and therefore we don't have to seek enlightenment. We have to remove the vibrational barriers and belief systems that have held us in a state of unenlightenment. It's not about seeking it, it's about removing what is stopping us being what we already are. Escaping the box. Escaping the box. Oh, it's hard to escape the box. No, it's just moving your point of observation. What we're told to believe is to look in the mirror and say the reflection is me. No, no. The energy is you. The reflection is the vehicle your consciousness is using to experience this reality. And we look at everything in these terms here, down the microscope, in little me, when we just move that point of observation, and that is everything. Everything comes from that. Everything changes from that. If we can just move our self-identity from I am this person in the body with this name to I am all consciousness having an experience of this name and this vehicle to experience this reality, everything changes. We go from this to this. Everything comes from that. I can tell you that because I've experienced it. Everything comes from that because there's an energetic move, a shift that takes place when we move from little me to all that is. And that energetic shift changes everything. Your life changes. It has to, because you're not what you were before energetically. We need to move from I am the reflection in the mirror to I am consciousness, having an experience of seeing my reflection in the mirror. And once you start to do that, no way that we can be sheeple anymore. Consciousness doesn't do sheep, human sheep. And it's amazing, you know, when you look at this, I've seen it. You got hundreds and hundreds of sheep, and they can be controlled by a sheepdog, fear, and by one or two, sometimes one shepherd's symbol of authority. And yet, if each one of those sheep expressed its uniqueness and went off in its own unique direction, the symbol of authority and the symbol of fear would be absolutely impotent in controlling those sheep. Those sheep do it because they acquiesce. When we need to cease to acquiesce, and then these people in dark suits and those that control us will have no power over us. And celebrate. We should all celebrate, and we should celebrate each other's uniqueness and ability to be different. They have this saying, it's a national saying in Japan, don't be the nail that stands out above the rest because that's the first one to get hit. Okay. I spent 20 years being hit. Here I am. Eh? It's not as difficult. It's not as difficult. See, so many things. You know, when I was a footballer, the worst part of being a footballer, because I was a nervous little fella then, was sitting in the dressing room before the game because all the things that could go wrong were going wrong through your mind. And then when you get out in the field and you actually did it, oh, this is good, I'm enjoying this. It's like when you sit worrying about going to the dentist for like 3 weeks. And then you go in and they says, oh, nothing wrong, it's okay. Oh, that's good, that was brilliant. What do you mean it was brilliant? You ruined your life for 3 weeks waiting for this. Everything seems worse thinking about it. I'll tell you from experience, speaking your truth, being your uniqueness is not as difficult as it seems if you disconnect from caring what other people think. That's the prison. That's the prison. Most people live in a prison of fearing what other people think. Therefore, they don't live their life. They live someone else's version of what they should be. Bugger that for a lark. Don't want to know, thank you. I am me. I am unique. And I celebrate everyone else who's expressing their uniqueness. Even though I might not agree with it, so what? Doesn't matter. Their uniqueness, it's them. That's who they are. The more we celebrate uniqueness, the more we celebrate being conscious. As this great film, Dead Poets Society, Robin Williams, he said at one point, I stand upon my desk to remind myself that we must constantly look at things in a different way. You see, the world looks very different from up here. You don't believe me? Well, come and see for yourselves. And we have been manipulated to live lives that basically see life from the same point of observation. Because that's what the manipulators want, because then if we do that, we're controllable. Once we start celebrating uniqueness and have infinite numbers of points of observation of the same thing, suddenly there's too many points of difference, too many points of uniqueness and diversity, and you can't control that from a central point. When we open to consciousness, everything seems different because we become different and we lose these prisons like fear and insecurity, and the auric field opens, the mind opens to consciousness, and we start to live a life that is the real us and not the fake us that we have lived up to this point. One of the great things is clearing our minds of the clutter. Always going on clearing the minds of the clutter. When about 2 years ago now, when I was going through this, started this big kind of awakening within myself, like another level, I had this overwhelming feeling for months just to throw everything out. I only live in a little flat because I want to and I like it and it just suits me, but it was still full of rubbish in closets and bloody things, places you do. You don't believe the number of things you kind of accumulate. And what I was going through was an inner clearing of everything out. What really matters to me? What is relevant? And so much isn't. Doesn't matter. We hold things on within ourselves that don't matter and we get stressed about them. And what I did as this was happening to me, I realized after a while that my sudden obsession, which lasted about a month or so, I was going to the bloody recycling tip day after day after day. They're saying, it's you again. Yeah, more stuff, more stuff. And I got down in my flat to only, not minimalism, but virtually there. And I'd cleared all these things. Oh, well, I'll keep that. I might need it. Well, I never use it. Get rid of it. And then I went, after that I stopped because I had nothing else to throw out. I went through a process, and I'm quite a clean fella, but I'm not obsessed with it. But I wanted to clean everything, cleaning everything constantly. And what I realized that was doing is I was externalizing what was happening within me, and it was such a wonderful experience to clear out external expression of it, but the inner clutter to start to realize what really matters. And you start to realize it so much that winds us up and diverts us and pulls us into mind and stress doesn't matter. I have this thing now. I say to people, if you were on your deathbed and had 10 minutes to live, would what's stressing you now matter? Well, no. Well, the great trick is bring that here into the now and don't let it matter now. Oh, well, what she said about me, it was disgusting. Doesn't matter. She'll say something else tomorrow. What does it matter? How dare you say this about me? Oh, and oh, it's terrible what they're doing.